Okay, so I was filming a video about like a certain topic and I wasn't really feeling it. Like, and I refilmed it another time and then I was just like, it just wasn't happening. And so I decided that I think the problem is that I've been taking it a little bit too seriously. You know, my podcast, like the last few episodes have been about a lot of like neurodivergent, like serious topics because what's been going through my mind and what I've been wanting to talk about. But sometimes I kind of get pushed into feeling like I need to keep talking about that stuff, but that's not sustainable for me. Like if I'm going to keep creating content, it needs to be stuff that I enjoy too. And so I feel like it's almost like mismatched and I don't want to make certain type of content and I'm like, no, I need to make some more fun, like silly, whimsical content too. So I was like, I'm gonna allow myself to talk about something that I've been excited about lately, and that's a book that I've been reading. um so I've always been a reader. Like when I was a kid, I loved books. Like I would be in the books for hours. Like that's all I would do. Like I don't know how to explain it. It's just everything revolved around the books. And part of the reason why I read was like to as an escape. You know, so like when I was really young, I remember reading the Magic Treehouse books, the Nancy Drew books, and what were some I used to read the Babysitter's Club. That was like these were more like middle school books, right? The Magic Treehouse was like more of the elementary school books. But I remember reading all of the ones that like our library had. At first, you know, the reading started off as like a requirement, but then I found a joy for reading and like a genuine love for reading with the Nancy Drew books and the Babysitter's Club in middle school. And my librarian, she noticed I was in there a lot and very indecisive. So she would help me find books and she would talk to me about like what books I was interested in and she would recommend other books to me. And yeah, like they were a great escape from reality also because I didn't have like the most pleasant childhood. So it would take me to another place, you know, it was like an escape. But then I feel like because a lot of the reasons why I was pushed to reading was because of an escape, then I hesitated to get back into it because it was hard for me to enjoy it and not be reminded of the reason why I was doing it in the first place. Like it started off as a coping mechanism, you know? And then I'm got to a phase in life where I felt like and maybe this was something that was with me like kind of all throughout my life, where I felt like I had to earn the right to enjoy things. Like I couldn't have fun or do the things that I liked until I had accomplished a certain amount of chores and like proved myself worthy of deserving the fun and enjoyment. And I've been like actively working on that and making time for things that I enjoy in my everyday life. And so I've had these books building up for the last couple years. I want to say around high school, like my reading started tapering off just because school got a little bit more serious and other obsessions took place, like me getting really into cosmetology and watching all of those beauty gurus on YouTube and like watching all the Minecraft YouTubers and baking videos. Like I had other hobbies, you know, kind of step into there. And I kind of moved away from the books. But I've always wanted to get back to it. So the last few years, I started buying books and reading them on and off, but they were more like serious books, like self-help books or like educational books. And then that also started to deter me from wanting to read again because I was like, you know, it's so serious, like it's stuff that like takes a lot of thought. Like I want a good book that I can just enjoy. And so I finally got a fantasy book. With all the things that I like in a book, like I love books that are set more like in medieval times, anything with some type of castle and mythical creature. So this book involves a lot of dragons, and so, you know, that's really fun. And so the other day I caught myself, like it took me forever. I've held on to this book for a while, but I never really just got myself to read it. I kept on getting distracted, kept making up excuses or something. But then once I picked up this book, like I could not put it down. I was like literally laying in bed, like on my stomach reading the book like a teenage girl, and kicking and like squealing at like the stuff in the book, all the lines going on, and like her interactions with like like the main character's interactions with the people in the book. And I was filled with this kind of excitement that literally gave me like a body high that I haven't felt from a book. Like, I was just so excited about this book. And I went to my partner, he was in the other room, and I was like telling him about the book, and like just basically just telling him everything that I had read in the chapter. And I was talking so fast and so excited that I literally wasn't breathing. Like, I went like to catch my breath so that I could, you know, continue explaining everything. I was just like, wow, like I was so excited, like I was shaking because it was so exciting to me. And I was like, wow, I have not felt this in a really long time. And I was just I'm really happy to be able to get back into something that I enjoy. And I think for a long time, like, my body didn't feel safe enough to, you know, just in the, like, I was just always on guard. So I didn't feel safe enough to enjoy things. I felt like I always had to be hyper vigilant and like watching and everything. And that has changed a lot in the last few years since I've moved out and rewired my brain and done years of therapy. I have a much healthier relationship with myself and with the people around me, because I no longer tolerate people treating me in ways that I don't deserve. And I'm now at a point where I feel like I deserve better, right? And so I've been allowing myself to feel like, or how do I say this? Like, I feel like I felt like I had to give myself permission to have fun and enjoy the things that I used to enjoy. And so I'm so happy that I'm able to enjoy reading as much as I have been. I've been reading for like, I'll read for like 2 hours, and then by that point my brain is like a little bit dead and I'm not able to like really tell what I'm reading anymore. So I'll take a break from that, and then I'll go do laundry, and then after that, then I'll go back to reading for a little bit, and then I'll take a break and I'll go do dishes or something. And I've been enjoying that pace. Like, I don't want to go back to working a 9 to 5. I'm very hopeful that content creation will be sustainable for me. And I'm grateful that I have the opportunity right now to, you know, try to pursue this, you know? Because if you don't know from like my other videos, right now my partner is taking over the bills, but it's not sustainable long term. So we're hoping for the best, but if, you know, something happens, then I'll have to may have to go back to figuring out some other way to make money. If that means going back to a 9 to 5, like, I don't want to think about that. But right now we're going to live in the moment and hope that my current plans work out so that I don't ever have to go back to a 9 to 5. So yeah, like, I wanted to talk about, I guess, my love for reading or whatever. I just knew that I wanted to choose something to talk about that was fun to me and like flowed more naturally. Because as I was filming my other video right before this and trying to stay on topic, it just wasn't flowing naturally, and I was just like, this isn't it. It felt too forced, and that's not what I ever want content creation to feel like for me. So I've been expanding and reminding myself that things don't have to be so serious. I don't have to stick to a certain niche. You know, I can make content about other things. Like, sure, some people might expect a certain type of content, which is okay, you know, because that's what they know me for, that's what they found me for. But I'm not gonna let that stop me from expanding out in other ways and talking about the other things that I want to talk about. So yeah, it's actually, well, I'm really happy with how things are going content creation wise. I'm almost at 10K, like, it's crazy. I think I'm less than 200 followers away from 10K. Like, I've seen my page grow the fastest that it ever has been, and finding so many people who relate to the things that I've said, you know, like, just the right audience for everything. Because the reason why I talk about my experiences is to help other people not feel so alone, and, you know, just any value that they can get out of me expressing the things that I express, right? And so, yeah, I'm I'm glad to see that it's making an impact. Yeah. So yeah, Oh, I'm so excited. I'm like thinking about this book right now. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to like finish making this video and like get back to my book. Like it's sitting right there. I'm like halfway through it. And it's like I'm so particular about my books too, because some books people will be like, oh, like it wasn't predictable, like which books are supposed to be predictable to a point because there's a certain layout, right? And there's certain tropes and stuff. But there's that I've read books before where they're like, you can't predict the ending, and I predicted it like halfway through, right? But this book, I genuinely like all the plot turns, the plot twists and everything. I'm like, whoa, I expected this, but I didn't expect that. And it's like the pacing is so good because it doesn't throw too much information at you at once, but it also isn't like, doesn't have too much filler where it's like, this is just unnecessary stuff. Like, what is this? It's like the more that I read, the more that I see like how important all of the previous little bits and pieces of the passage, like, oh my god, I am so excited for this. I don't even know if this book is like a duo or a trio or whatever. What even is the words for it? A trilogy, right? I don't know how many books are in this series, but oh my god, I'm like dreading that it's gonna be over, but I'm not even halfway through the first book, right? But this level of excitement, like I feel like I hid this away for so long. You know, I was seen as like dramatic, right? Which, like, yeah, sure, I might be more dramatic if you compare that to other people, right? But dramatic doesn't have to be a bad thing. Some people love dramatic people. And some people prefer, it's more about preference. It's not like I'm any more or less for being how I am. And I realized that, like, I can be valued for the same things that I was judged for. It just depends on who you're around, because it's a compatibility issue. It's not a matter of like you are wrong for being this way or they're wrong for being this way. If you feel like you don't fit somewhere, the problem isn't you. It's where you are. It's probably who you're around. The problem is almost never you for being how you are. And of course, that doesn't mean like I condone toxic behavior. Like that's not what I'm saying. But I mean, if you're doing things in a way that's harmless, like that shouldn't affect other people, then and other people are judging you for that, the problem isn't you. The problem is that you're in the wrong space, right? Does that make sense? And I feel like, oh my gosh, that's a big bird. So all of the things that everybody told me was wrong about me growing up, all those like those same traits that I'm like allowing to come to the surface now that I was so scared to bring and show to the world, people admire me for that. And I'm around people who like they'll tell me that they admire me for that. I'm like, oh, am I talking too much? They're like, no, because I'm around people that say, this actually happened. I was like, you know, talking with my friends, and then I noticed that I was just talking more than everybody else, and I was like, sorry, am I talking too much? Because I wanted to make sure I wasn't interrupting them. And they were like, no. They're like, well, you're talking a lot, like you're talking more than us, yes, but we like that. Like we just don't have much to say. Like I love hearing you talk. And so it's like, oh my gosh, like hearing that is so validating, and it just reminds me of how much like things are about compatibility. And it's like, it's not me. It was never me. All the judgment, it's like I was just around people who didn't understand me. I was in the wrong place. Like public school, it's full of everybody, all groups of different people. So you're going to be around people who judge you. But when you're older and you figure life out, and you know, you don't have to be in situations that you don't want to be and be around people that you don't want to be around, so much of that changes. Like, I wish that I knew that when I was younger, because that would have helped so much to know that I was never the problem, you know, that it was just the people that I was around, and that like this life existed. I'm so grateful for the life that I live now. And it's crazy because I used to think that this was too much to ask. And I'm like, and it's so funny that I didn't know that this is all that I would need to feel happy and fulfilled in my life. It's so much, but it's also not much. You know what I mean? It's like, people put this impression in your brain that like, you can't be like, especially in the system in America, they're like, you can't be happy unless you have the nuclear family and you live in the suburbs with like a white picket fence and like 2 dogs and like, you know, but I am so happy being where I am, where my day-to-day life just involves enjoying the things that, it involves just doing the things that I enjoy. And I hope that that's enough for me to make a living, you know? And with how things are going social media wise, like with content creation, I feel like it can only go up from here. You know, I do my best to not compare myself to other people who have grown faster in less amount of time. And I just think about the progress that I'm seeing now and the way that I feel and how I feel like the content that I make is meaningful. It feels authentic to me. I enjoy doing it. And I just have faith that like everything will work out the way that it's supposed to. I don't know what lies ahead, but I'm open to the possibilities, and I'm very hopeful, you know, which makes me emotional to think about because, you know, I'm 24, but before the age of like 20, you know, I want to say I felt hopeless more than I felt hopeful. So it really feels like my life has just started, and it's just good to know that, you know, if I feel this way, it's just like the life that I lived before this, like I'd never have to go back to that. And I wish I knew back then that this existed and that this was a possibility, and that would have made everything so much easier. And I'm so grateful to be able to talk about the things that, you know, just to talk about all of these, like all of my life experiences, and have people who relate and be able to make that impact. Like people will DM me and comment and say how much my content has helped them, and that's exactly why I do it. It's like I don't care about the numbers for the numbers. I care about the impact that I'm making, and that shows me that I'm making an impact. So I feel like I've already like succeeded, you know, even though I'm not where I want to be, because I'm where I want to be right now. It's just that I can't stay like at this level for long, but I have faith that I'm not going to have to, you know? It's just my only worry in life whenever I let that thought creep in is money, just that I want to be making money soon with content creation, because like I said, it's not sustainable for my partner to take over bills for that long. But I also am happy with the level of impact that I'm making right now. Like I feel like I'm at this point where I'm like, wow, like I feel like I'm the type of person that I looked up to when I was a kid. I didn't realize that I've become who I needed as a child, and I'm very proud of myself, you know, to be where I am now. And I'm glad that I don't hate myself, and I have everything that I didn't before. So yeah, I just hope that it helps somebody in some way. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Yeah.